This is the movie machine. And today I want to share with you how you can make films using it. And at a high level, the movie machine turns any story into a movie or show with AI. And I know that sounds really big, and it is, but I'm going to teach you today how this thing functions truly like a movie studio in a box. And you can be the director of it. If you're watching this video, you're likely one of three folks. You're someone who already has a story. You might be a filmmaker. You might be a screenwriter. You might be an author. You could be a producer, but you have a story you want to share with the world and bring it to life with AI as a way to do this much, much cheaper. We have folks making content all in cost using Movie Machine for something like $80 per finished minute. So you can make a full length film for several $1,000s, well under 10K. And this is, full cost, all generations, soup to nuts, what people are spending on the compute. There's also other folks who are here, and you might be looking to actually get paid using the Movie Machine. And there's many folks now, we're approaching 10 plus who are making a full-time living, actually making movies and shows for other people using the Movie Machine, which is really awesome. And we expect by the end of this year, meaning the end of 2026, to have at least 100, if not more people, making a full-time living using the Movie Machine to make movies and shows to their people. So you might be here trying to learn about the Movie Machine so you can actually go and use it yourself and make a living. And you could be in the third camp, which is someone who might not be sure yet how they want to interact with this. Maybe they want to use it for trailers for their stories. It might not be fully sold in movies yet. Maybe they just have an idea and they're passionate about it, but they don't have a full story yet. They don't know where they're going. If you're in that camp, we love you still. And I think your whole world's going to change once you understand what the Movie Machine can do for you. So, like I said, the Movie Machine is a full pipeline from story to finished film in one place. And it makes it 1,000 times faster, cheaper, and easier to get films that not only have video, but actual stories with consistent characters, locations that are consistent, continuity across scenes, voices and audio all in one place so that viewers can be immersed in your films and you can actually bring your story to life. Now, how you do that is you first click to create a new project. You're going to upload your script as either a PDF or it could be a book, it could be notes. You're then going to select your orientation. This is what size you want your video to be. Vertical, meant to be watched on a phone, or horizontal, meant to be watched on television or a laptop. It could still be watched on a phone too. Style preset is then how, how photorealistic do you want it to be? Do you want to be photorealistic, cartoon, anime? And this is actually the style of your film. You can even create your own custom style, which can be great. All super fun stuff. So next step is understanding the actual foundations of this movie machine. You have characters, locations, and props. And we create these automatically based on what's inside of the uploaded story. Likewise, we also create all of your scenes, which are essentially a distinct unit of action in your story. And inside of these scenes, we actually create every single shot with the action and camera notes written for you. That's right. Literally all the camera notes and all the action is written for you, automatically generated, each shot in sequence based on what happens in your story. And then you can edit and generate your films all in one place. You can see the timeline here. You have your audio tracks, your sound effects, ambient noise, each shot in your film planned out for you. You can make them shorter, longer. You can replace them with other clips. You can add in new shots and do things like lip sync. You can actually generate voices if you want to add in audio in post. And you can, of course, bring in your own music and your own sound effects as well. It is pretty amazing. Now, the next big thing with the Movie Machine, now that we know what is the Movie Machine, we need to understand how the machine creates consistent visuals and audio. And I want to go back to cast locations and props because how this all works is actually really simple. How your character looks in the director's notes, this cast locations and prop section, this is used directly in creating the start frames, and the start frames are used directly in creating the videos. So let me show you what one of the start frames looks like. Let's go to shot one here. We have a few things here. So we have the space station, which is the location that actually makes up this shot. And then we have the action here, which orients how the space station should actually look and what the camera angle will be for the start frame. Now, an even better example is thinking about Elias Kate and his space gear. We have another start frame here with him on top of the space station exterior with the tethered rope. And what you'll notice about this is that the location is taken from the cast location of the props, and so is the character. And we're using this to create the start frame. So as you can see, the look of the cast and the location directly create the look of the frames. And this is true for every single shot in your entire film. So getting your characters right up front and your locations right up front is key. But you'll also notice something else. Elias in the cast section looks slightly different than this image of him. And this is because you can create different versions of characters that represent wardrobes in different scenes. So this is the original version of Elias when he's not in space gear. But then we can have different versions of Elias when he's actually in space gear in different moments. So this is how he'll look in version 3. Now, what we'll see here when we actually look at the video is also based on the start frame as well. So the start frames are based on the cast locations and props. All right. So as you'll see from watching this video, the start frame is literally the start of the video, which is good and bad. Good because you know how your video is going to start. Bad because oftentimes people go, "Ooh, that's a beautiful frame," but that might not be the frame that you want to start your video. If it's in the middle of the action sequence, you don't want the middle of the action sequence to be the beginning of the shot, right? And as you'll can see here, literally, the start of that video is the start of the start frame. And the start of the start frames are all based on your cast locations and props. So now you can see that you can create different versions, you can create different locations, but all this is down to making sure you're happy with your cast locations and props before you generate the start frame, or else it's going to be very hard to get that start frame looking how you want. And in turn, going to be very hard to get the video looking how you want. But this is how we maintain consistency throughout your entire film. And it's pretty magical. Next is that when there is dialogue and someone's speaking, you can actually select their voice. And their voice here, for the voices, you can actually select different speakers and it'll have the same voice for that speaker throughout the entire story. Of course, they'll have different intonation when they have different emotions, but we'll use this to keep dialogue consistent. Sound cues are ultimately music, ambient noise, etc. And that'll all be generated when you click the generate video button, which is a super fun button to click. I have a lot of fun clicking it. But as you'll see here, the voices are going to come from the director's notes section, and we can actually listen to some of the characters' voices here. This is Marisol.
Keep your helmet on. I need to run a check. Tell me from the beginning what you saw, step by step. Elias, please, calm down. Keep your helmet
the dialogue. So the dialogue is just taken from the actual film, which is pretty fun. And you can actually see the film Saturn's Rings. This is based on, linked in the description. It is a super fun film, and it was made using this exact movie machine project that you're looking at. So when it comes to the movie machine actually making films, some people think it's just one button, click, and you make a movie. As you can see, we actually break down films into shots, individual shots that can be edited and that can be generated one at a time. This helps you control your costs. You're not just spending, a ton of money generating a full movie up front, but it also does something maybe even more important, which gives you granular control of your story as we go along. So each shot is going to last anywhere from typically 4, and it could be as much as 15 seconds. Oftentimes, we'll auto-select a duration for you, but as you can see here, you can also change the shot duration from anywhere from 4 to 15 seconds. It's important to note that these shots will be exactly 5, exactly 6, and exactly 8, etc. seconds, and you'll be paying for that generation cost. Likely, when you actually get your final film, you're going to be editing this down, so it's not exactly 5 seconds. It's not exactly 8 seconds. So you're not going to use every second generated footage, and that's okay. That's expected. Now, when we actually look at the shot, what you'll see here is the different action, if applicable dialogue. And what's important to note about this process is you really want to see when you look at a shot, how long is this going to take? Elias moves along the whole walkway, carrying the camera pod as he lifts his heavy magnetized boots. Do we need an 8-second shot here? I don't think so. 4 seconds should definitely tell this story. And ultimately, you want to give each shot just enough breathing room, but not too much. You don't want to actually have it be too long because then you're just going to be wasting money and wasting time, which is not fun. Not fun things. But this is actually how we generate film. We break it down one shot at a time. And what we do on the back end is we don't just give you video, we also give you sound effects, music, and dialogue with that. So you get really everything when you press the generate button, and you can download these tracks yourself individually You own all content you make in the Movie Machine. If you're doing work for a client in the Movie Machine, the client will own the work, but you can download this, download your tracks, edit them, you're good to go. So now that you've seen inside the Movie Machine and have a little bit of an idea of how the high level works. There's lots of nuanced features and bells and whistles, and we cover a lot on this YouTube channel. So I don't want to overwhelm you too much more than I already have. But what I want to give you before we go is takeaway number 4, which is what mindset will prepare me to use the movie machine. And there's really 3 sub bullet points here that are key to know. First is it's a game of experimentation. This is a new field and the technology is evolving rapidly. Those who are willing to try and try again are going to continue learning and will do best. So if you're not happy with your first video, if you don't think your first start frame's good, guess what? Mine wasn't either. And really no one's is. But once you start to understand how to use the machine and how to work with it, you're going to be able to get better with time. So trying again and keeping the reps in is key. Next is put the story first and be willing to adapt. The question you should always be asking yourself is what is best for the viewer and how can you work with technology, not against it? Ultimately, AI has gotten a lot better, and AI filmmaking is going to continue to get way better. But with where it's at now, searching for perfection is impossible. You're not going to be able to get perfect consistency. You're not going to be able to get perfect continuity in your film. You're not going to get every shot to be exactly how you want. And guess what? Traditional production is the same way. If you have unlimited time and unlimited money, you can make a perfect film, but no one has unlimited time and no one has unlimited money. So you always have to settle for something that's slightly less than perfect, but ultimately trying to put the viewer first. And lastly, the other big mindset thing with the movie machine is post-production is where magic happens. No production has ever shot be perfect as stated, but you can touch things up in editing. Maybe you get 2 generations to the movie machine for a shot, and both aren't that great. But the first half of one shot's good, and the second half of another shot is good. You can then cut those together. Maybe there's certain shots that just don't make it to your final film. You end up saying, I don't need this anymore. There's lots of different options here. But the point to know is that production is not the last step in the process. Editing is. So once you produce your film and have your scenes, you can still refine it and make it better. And if you're trying to get the film looking perfect in production, you're going to be wasting so much time that you could be spending making your film better in post-production. Now, lastly, and what I'll leave you with is what is the recommended workflow for using the movie machine? Ultimately, there's not one right way to prompt or one right way to create a movie, but I do want to give you some insight into how we do things internally at Creatorwood. We produce many of our own productions using this software. We have many folks who work full time for us using the movie machine for much of their day. We've learned through immense trial and error the way that we like to do things. Not to say that there couldn't be other ways to do things, and not to say that this is even the best way. I'm sure we'll find better ways with time. But for now, what we recommend doing is the following. First, you have to process your story. If it's a client story, maybe they've already processed it. If it's a story that you're working on yourself, you're going to want to make sure it's loaded up to the movie machine. Next is once it's inside the movie machine, you want to focus on those cast, locations, and props. You want to make sure that they look right, that they sound right, and that you get the vision how you want. And it can be annoying to generate 10 images of a character, but it's better to generate 10 images up front than have to regenerate your entire film because your character doesn't look how you want. And 10 images is just going to cost about $1. So, to get $1 to get your character looking great throughout your entire film, we believe is a worthwhile investment. And the same goes true for all of your locations and all of your props in your story. Next is you want to do start frames. And start frames are going to ultimately be based on your shot list. And you can see here many shots that are not generated and how they actually look. And what you'll want to do before you actually click generate start frame is understand, is this a shot you even like? Because you could just delete the shot if you don't want it. And then if you like the shot, should you change the camera notes, the action? Is it aligned with your story? Luckily, when you're inside the movie machine, you can actually click view original text right here, and you can see the original story that actually made this scene. So that's really cool. You can read the original story and be like, does it line up with the actual shot information? Now, when you're actually generating a frame, you just click the generate frame button. You can choose to generate a single frame or generate frames the entire scene. With video, I recommend going one at a time. With start frames, I recommend doing the entire scene. And there's a reason for this. To understand whether your frames actually look good or not, you need to see multiple together. You need to actually see the progression of the storyboard. And if you click here from expanded mode at the top of your shot list into frames mode, you can actually see every frame in sequence in your story. And this is so powerful because now you can really understand what shots you need, what shots do you not need, what shots look consistent, what shots don't. And when you get to see them all in one view like this, it makes it so much easier to see if your film's going to be consistent. Because again, your start frames are going to be what generate your actual video. Then next up is actually generating scenes. And when you generate scenes, you want to make sure that you're happy with your start frames. And when you do it, you're just going to click the button, generate whatever the video model is. Now you'll see here there's a model picker. In time, we're probably taking this away. The TLDR is that you should be using WAN when there's dialogue because WAN is based off of characters speaking or it's audio driven generation. So it'll actually have the characters speak first with their consistent audio. And then that'll be used to actually generate the final video. So it'll have great consistent audio. Kling is great for action shots, VO for more cinematic shots. Aurora can do audio longer than 15 seconds, which is sometimes useful, but we usually recommend breaking them out into separate shots. And then in terms of the last step here, it's ultimately editing, right? And you can edit inside of Creatorwood and export your films in Creatorwood to anywhere. You own your films in Creatorwood, but honestly, lots of our folks use DaVinci Resolve and CapCut right now. We're hoping that Creatorwood's editor is up to snuff and can be a true place for people to edit films in. And it's quite good now, but you might find more luck with these platforms. We have a lot more resources to help you succeed. And below, we're going to link down to multiple different playlists that we have, which are actually a free online course. It's on YouTube, but it's a free online course on how you can make movies and shows with the Movie Machine. I really recommend diving deep into the checklist sessions in particular, which will be linked down below. It's essentially how to troubleshoot what is going right and wrong with start frames, what's going right and wrong with the video, and what's going right and wrong with your cast, location, and props. So I'd really watch those videos next, and they're linked all in the description below. Lastly, reach out to us with questions. We're here at hello@creatorwood.tv. We're here to support you. We're so grateful you're here. And whether you're an AI director looking to join us and make a living making movies and shows for others, whether you're a creator who likely wants to make a living as well, but using your own movies and shows, we're here. And we're so excited and grateful for you. With all that said, storytellers of the world, never forget that.